Yesterday we said this phrase, namely Sadarikina Chittasa Samana Gato Hoti. The bhikkhu is possessed of a mind guarded by mindfulness. So with sati, the mind is guarded, and the bhikkhu or yogi possesses such a mind guarded by mindfulness. When you say guarding, guarding means mindfulness, and mindfulness also is guarding or protecting. And in the verse it said this Chiddam Rekena Reketa Miravi. That is, the wise should guard one's mind, or his or her mind. That is how the verse is mentioned. It only mentions the gist of it, but not quite the details of the practical aspect. The practice is none other than the way of mindfulness, Satipatthana Dhamma. By guarding your mind with vigilant mindfulness of whatever arises. By guarding, you are protected. And also we talked about the qualities of sati in terms of natural characteristic, function, manifestation and proximate cause. There are two kinds of manifestations. One of them is Areka Satipatthana, the manifestation of protection, so that the mind is protected from impurities, as much as one is noting every arising object, not to lose one's mindfulness. And in the course of the practice of mindfulness, the noting mind is concurrent with the object of attention. The noting mind comes into face to face with the object, so that the impurities, kilesas, such as raga, dosa, moha, which can arise if you are not mindful, or the hindrances to progress, beginning with the hindrance of sense desires, will not have a chance to arise in your stream of consciousness. By not giving it a chance to arise, you are said to be protected or guarded. And hence the mind is guarded from these impurities. And as one activates mindfulness continuously and cultivating knowledge in an unusual manner, one will not be able to allow these impurities to arise. Even at times one is missing some objects, the gross forms of impurities will not enter one's stream of consciousness. Instead, they are said to be overcome. As the mindfulness is consistent, one is able to remove or eradicate these impurities on a part-time basis in the course of the practice, known as Tananga Bahana, temporary or part-time eradication. Because these impurities will not have a chance to occupy your mind. Hence, you are free from such afflictive emotions on a part-time basis. In this way, because you are free from these impurities, your mind becomes delicate and subtle, as much as your impurities are removed or distanced from you, and they are subdued. That is why it is said that at times, even if you lose mindfulness, you will not allow these gross forms of impurities to come into your stream of consciousness, because you are practicing, cultivating mindfulness and building up momentum of the practice. Sati, in this way, the mind the lowly mind is set to guard one's mind. And the fact that the mind is protected by mindfulness is manifested manifested in the mind of the yogis. As the Buddha has taught, to guard one's mind with vigilant mindfulness of whatever arises, we have to activate our mindfulness of every arising continuously, which is essential for everybody. Is it essential for everybody? If one is asked in this way, then one would answer this in the affirmative. And when you look at it, either as regards the worldly matters or Dhamma matters, there are four factors which make one a task or an undertaking essential. There are four factors to make an undertaking essential. That is, the first factor is that the one has got to do it compulsory. It is compulsory. For that, it is essential. That means you've got to do it, and you must do it. Only when you do, you accomplish the purpose. Hence, it is essential. That is compulsory nature of the task. Now, the second factor is you have to do it by yourself, not through any proxy or agent or another person. Because you have to do it by yourself, it can be considered as essential. And the third factor is you have to do it in time or regularly. For that, the task or undertaking is essential. And the fourth reason is that the task or undertaking brings maximum benefit. Hence, it is essential. So these 4 points are necessary to make things essential, either from the worldly point of view or the Dhamma point of view, or either in the worldly matters or Dhamma matters. For instance, your daily food, which you have to take because it is essential. If you don't take it, then you will suffer. You will feel hungry, and you will suffer from it. And you have to throw it out, also excrete it. If you don't do it, affect your health. So this is daily routine. And if you think ordinarily, normally, you might think that this is not important because you are doing it every day. It is a daily routine. And because you have to do it by yourself, for that it is essential. You cannot do it through another person. And you've got to do it regularly and in time. You have to eat in time, you have to eat regularly. And then excrete regularly in time. This is daily routine which you have to do by yourself. Then, because it brings maximum benefit, that is, because you take food, you are satisfying your hunger, and because you are taking essential nutriments, this causes health and strength in you. And because of these essential nutriments, this brings about new materialities, new body, and your body parts will become clear, healthy, and strong. Hence, this is very beneficial. For that, you've got to take the food. Although you think that because it is daily routine, it is not so important. Actually, it is very important. Because if you don't do it, then you are bound to suffer. So, these factors have to be fulfilled. any undertaking or task should be in keeping with these four factors to make such an undertaking or task essential. This is also the same in the case of the Dhamma matters. To practice the Dhamma, to practice to cultivate your conduct, to practice to control the mind, cultivate the mind and insight, and to prevent wrongdoing by body and speech. All these things are very important because they are in agreement with these four factors. Hence, these things such as Dhamma matters are very essential. What we are talking about is the Satipatthana Bhavana, to guarding the mind with vigilant mindfulness of whatever arises. By noting continuously, we are cultivating mindfulness, and as much as these objects to be noted are lining up in front, they are to be followed by the mindfulness, fixed mindfulness, so that these impurities which would arise if you are not mindful will not have a chance to arise. Even if you lose mindfulness in between, because your mindfulness is very strong, even if the impurities arise in between, you'll be able to overcome them by noting and weakening and abandoning them. So in this way, you practice to prevent, first of all, to prevent these impurities from arising, and if they at all arise, you will just note and overcome. That is like a treatment in the case of disease. In this way, you are activating mindfulness, and initially your sati is not so strong. Now you are substituting these unmindfulness with mindfulness, so that you are bound to realize the benefit of the practice. This is a high discipline. And in this way, this practice of Satipatthana is in keeping with these four reasons to make any task essential, so that this practice of Satipatthana is essential for everybody. In this way, understanding this, you cultivate faith and confidence, first of all, so that by cultivating faith and confidence, you are said to be overcoming skeptical doubt about the practice. In this way, the skeptical doubt is replaced by faith and confidence in the practice. In this way, there will be no more skeptical doubt, and also you are bringing in the required, the essential mental factor, namely faith and confidence, and the non-essential factor, namely loss of faith and confidence, will be gone, and skeptical doubt is said to be replaced by faith and confidence. The unrequired, unnecessary mental states, or mental state in this case, is said to be replaced by the important or essential mental state. And also, you are noting every arising object, not to miss it. You have a strong desire to do it as a result of faith and confidence, called chanda. And because you have this strong desire, you are replacing the lack of desire by strong desire, so that you are bringing in these essential mental factor, namely desire, and you are removing the unimportant, non-essential mental factor, which is lack of desire. And also you are aiming at the object of attention, so that your noting mind is not overshooting the objects, with the result that you will not be indulging in any of the three immoral or unwholesome thoughts, namely kama vidaka, thoughts of sense desires, vyavada vidaka, thoughts of ill will, and vihimsa vidaka, thoughts of harming others. If you are not mindful, then any one or all of these three unwholesome thoughts are bound to enter your stream of consciousness. So, in this way, because you are taking an aim at the object of attention, you are free from any one of these three immoral thoughts. Hence, the Miccha Vidaka, immoral thoughts, are replaced by Samma Vidaka, the right thoughts. In this way, the required mental factors take the place of unrequired mental factors. And you are also exerting energy, in this case ardent energy, in order to note the object of attention with vigilance, wakefulness and alertness, because you are applying heroic energy, initial launching energy, and then stepped up energy when you tend to retreat or require. You step up your energy in order to overcome the sluggishness or laziness, and then the final energy to reach the goal. So in this way, because you are exerting energy, you are bringing in the required mental factor to replace slackness in the practice, and slogantopa, meaning sloth means not wishing to exert energy in the first place, and even if you exert energy, you soon get exhausted. So these things, unwholesome, unrequired mental states, are replaced by good, wholesome, beautiful mental state, namely heroic energy. So, because you are activating mindfulness, you are not failing. You are diligent. Because you are diligent, you are not failing or negligent. In this way, because you are abstaining from what should be abstained and observing what should be observed, you are being diligent. So, because of your mindfulness, you are diligent. In this way, this diligence is said to be replacing the lack of diligence or negligence, because you are mindful. In this way, as you are activating mindfulness, then noting mind falls calm and collected and unified on the object to be noted, giving rise to the momentary concentration, so that the noting mind will not scatter. There will be no scattering of the noting mind. There will be no wandering of the noting mind from the object. In this way, you are set to deepen your concentration. Thus, in this way also, you are bringing in wholesome or required mental state in place of unwholesome, unrequired mental state. In this way, you are bringing in purity to replace impurity. As we are applying our noting mind, that is taking an aim, in Pali, Vidaka, we become accustomed to it. We perfect our practice, so much so that later on in the course of the practice, as we build up momentum, we don't need to do it purposely. That means we don't need to aim our noting mind or apply our noting mind to the object purposely. And this will happen automatically, giving rise to momentary concentration. And we will be able to observe the natural phenomena, such as when you are watching the rising of the abdomen, you will observe the sensations such as stiffness, tension and movement. When you are noting falling, you will observe the relaxation, movement. So that you become familiar, or your noting mind becomes familiar with the natural phenomena. And for this Vitakka application or aiming acts as an intermediary or go-between. In this way, you are able to discern these natural phenomena, such as these sensations. You are observing it correctly, distinctly, and clearly. Such an observation is not from what the teachers say or from what the books say. It is your own personal experience or personal observation. And as much as you apply your noting mind to the object, you become familiar with these natural phenomena. Thus, this happens, namely, Samma Sankappa, the right aiming, leading to momentary concentration. As much as you cultivate the right aiming, Samma Sankappa, and momentary concentration, Kanika Samadhi, you are bound to discern or observe distinctly and clearly and fully the natural phenomena. At this point, the pure, wholesome mental states are brought about, especially what is known as Dhammoja, Dhamma-oja, or spiritual nutriments in the form of Samadhi. That is, right understanding or right view is called Dhammoja, Dhamma-oja, or spiritual nutriment. Just like when we take daily food, there are the multivitamins and essential elements involved in the food, and when this food is metabolized in your body, they perform their respective functions, like respective vitamin will perform respective function and so on, bringing about excellent materialities in your body called Paṇḍitā Rupa, so that your body becomes healthy and strong. Also, the same thing goes with the spiritual nutriment when they enter your stream of consciousness, like the multivitamins. When this spiritual nutriment enter your stream of consciousness, your mind will become clear, free of impurities. Because your mind is pure, it will become very strong and clear, free of impurities. Your mind becomes tamed and free of afflictions. In this way, your stream of consciousness is said to become wholesome and pure. Such is the result of the spiritual nutriments entering your stream of consciousness, like this excellent materiality in the form of nutriments or vitamins. Your mind and mental states will become very purified in a wonderful manner. And this is how you have to do it by yourself. That's why it becomes essential. And understanding this, you do it by yourself. And also, you do it in time or regularly. That means you have to know the object as it arises not after it has arisen or before it arises. You have to do it as soon as it arises. That is, doing the work in time. With vigilance, not slacking or not being slow, you've got to activate your mindfulness vigilantly. Then you'll be able to cultivate knowledge. Because the objects are very subtle, you've got to exert your energy regularly and in time. For that, it becomes essential for everybody. And by doing this, you are able to cultivate knowledge, beginning with the discernment of mind and body, that this is the noting mind and this is the noted object. In this way, you are able to differentiate between the two. And besides the noting mind and the noted object, there are no superfluous or extra things. In this way, you are discovering or observing the realities. Before this, you may be holding the view of the existence of Atta, such as the existence of person, being, individual, instead of the realities of mind and body. And whatever happens, whatever you do is done by your little soul or self, Atta, and you have been you may have been holding wrong, perverted views. Now you are seeing things as they are. That is, you are discovering the realities, and your vision becomes clarified. Hence, you are not holding the view of the existence of person, being, individual in place of the realities of mind and body. Such is the benefit of the practice. This is immediate benefit of the practice of Satipatthana. At this point, there will be no impurities rising in your stream of consciousness, and more so when you are able to cultivate knowledge, your vision will become clarified. Such also is the immediate benefit of the practice of Satipatthana. Hence, it has been said in the beginning of the great discourse on the foundations of mindfulness that this is one sure way of purifying one's mind. Now you are discovering it with your own practical experience. Then if you continue to practice with the application, with the exertion of energy, with the exertion of the practice, you are bound to cultivate further knowledge, namely the understanding of cause and effect, understanding the conditionality of this mind and body, the nature of the cause and the nature of the effect, and the nature of the mind and the nature of the material, the body. For instance, because of your intention or desire to sit, you sit. Because of your desire or intention to stand, you stand. And because of your desire or intention to bend or stretch and so on, you bend or stretch. And in this way, because of this intention, which is the mentality, nama, this intention or desire is followed by the actual physical act, namely the materiality, rupa. In this way, you come to understand the nature of the cause and the nature of the effect, or the nature of the mind and the nature of the body. And also, you will come to understand other conditionalities, such as how rupa causes rupa, or nama causes nama, and nama causes rupa. For instance, because of your attention, because you give attention, you see things. This kind of mental attention or mental advertence is known as manasikara, which is the mentality, or nama, or mind, resulting in seeing, hearing, and so on, which are also nama, mentality. This is how nama causes nama. This is how mental attention causes mental seeing, hearing, and so on. And in this way also you can understand how rupa causes nama. That is because of the presence of visible object or the eye, which are materiality or rupa. There arises this seeing consciousness or hearing consciousness. In this case, seeing consciousness, because of visible object and eye. Visible object and eye are materialities, rupa or matter or body. You understand the nature of the cause or nature of the body. And because of this cause, the material cause, there arises this mental effect, namely seeing consciousness. And also the nature of how rupa causes rupa, that is, the body becomes hot, cold, warm. That is a result of seasonal conditions. And you may feel hungry, you may feel weak and dull because of the lack of nutrition, that is, they are materialities, and because these are materialities. So materialities can cause materialities. Because of the heat, your body becomes hot. That is how rupa causes rupa. And because of the lack of food or the presence of food, you are weak or fresh or active, as the case may be. That is how rupa causes rupa. And there are many such instances which will be known in the course of the practice of mindfulness, by understanding the nature of the cause and the effect, so that you will no more hold the view of causelessness. And even if you hold the view of cause, you may be holding the irrelevant cause, irrelevant effect. That is, believing in a supreme being or creator which creates things or which demands things. And this is irrelevant cause, irrelevant effect, known as fictitious cause view. Now your views becomes purified. You come to understand the relevancy of cause and effect. Such is the immediate benefit of the practice. In this way, the practice of Satipatthana becomes essential for everybody in keeping with these 4 factors. In this way, the noting mind, the vitaka, the application or aiming, is connecting the noting mind with the object. In this case, the object is the nature of cause and effect, so that the noting mind becomes familiar with the nature of cause and effect. Thus one becomes clear of doubts. There will be no more doubts about this. One will realize clear vision, and there will be no view of causelessness. There will be only view of the existence of cause. And even if one holds the view of cause, one will not hold fictitious cause view, only hold the relevant cause view or relevance of conditionality. Thus one comes to understand the realities. Such is cultivating the knowledge of realities, known as Theravada Vipassana, seeing things as they are. Before that, you may be holding the causeless view or irrelevancy of cause and effect, or that somebody is causing it. somebody such as a supreme being is causing things. Thus, you are overcome by delusion, lack of clarity of vision. Now, that is wrong knowledge leading to wrong views. In this way, you are said to be overcome by wrong views. Deji. Now you are seeing things clearly, with clear vision. You are cultivating this knowledge, Yata Buddha, Vipassana Jnana. Your vision becomes very clear, free of delusions, so that your knowledge becomes correct, rectified, and so will be your views. Such is the benefit of the practice. We shall continue tomorrow.